You know what I was thinking about
What were you thinking about, Andre?
a couple of days ago? Was it a couple of days ago or yesterday? I don't know. All the veterans out hearing the fireworks and how traumatizing it might be.
Mm-hmm. That's valid.
I kind of
That's
think it's funny, but at the same time, I know it's not
Dre.
like
Why would you say that? Why do you think it's funny?
because we're America and we're celebrating something that could traumatize.
Oh, you mean like okay?
So
I
it's just the
thought.
idea of like we have veterans that have PTSD, yet we're
Mm,
also decide to celebrate those people by also shooting fireworks.
yeah, like it does not make sense. That's
It
just
just
the
doesn't
most
add up.
American like
Yeah,
that's the most American response to
yeah.
such traumatizing. Yeah, and like people just I know people not it's not just veterans that get scared like dogs and stuff. So
Dogs, people who are from uh like 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 uh hood neighborhoods, like
oh
Chicago area, where there's like gunfire all the time, so you don't know the difference between like fireworks and gunfire. That's crazy.
welcome to America, a land of the great.
Hi guys, welcome back. Or if this is your first time, welcome to the lounge, where we talk about serious and unserious things.
Mostly unserious.
Today we got a few interesting topics. We're not going to list it, obviously, but you're gonna
We got some good things
we got
coming your
some
way.
some
Stay
juicy
tuned.
topics for sure, for sure, for sure. Um, but let's do a little temperature check so far. Well, how you doing? How you been so far? Past couple of days?
Let's go with this. I've been
Yeah, just
chilling.
collectively, how's
I've been
it?
pretty good. I've been, doing really well on my 20 for 30 for class. I'm going every day, sometimes going twice a day, you know what I'm saying? The initial, like, insane soreness is worn off. Were you going to say something? You were like,
Uh, she's been trying to go to these classes 2, 3 times, like
your,
every day.
your Snapchat yesterday was really funny.
Um, she's trying to get $100.
I'm not getting $100 anymore.
She's not getting $100 anymore.
Someone already won.
Someone won already. So
But I was telling him, even before I went to 2 classes in a row yesterday, I was like, I don't know if I could do this, man. And he snaps me and he goes, yeah, I mean, like, what do you say? Like, something like, watch my limit or don't push it too much. You don't want to end up with one of those bracelets.
oh,
Which he means, like, in the hospital, a hospital bracelet. Anyways, I thought it was funny. But the initial soreness is worn off. I'm doing pretty good. Haven't missed a day. Haven't gone today yet, but I'm going to a class tonight. But I'm, like, trying all these fun classes out. Like, I've gone to, like, a beginner's hip hop class. Was I good? No. And then I went to a twerk class. So much fun. I'm going to a heels class tonight. Like, I'm having a good time. You should come. Why not?
I just don't have the masculine urge to go to
The masculine
an ass
urge.
shaking class. I'm sorry.
You can come to a heels class. We can thrift you some
No.
heels. Boring.
Guess I'm boring. I'll be boring.
Mm. But no, I've been good. We had a big breakfast today. I'm pretty proud of my breakfast making skills.
Yeah.
I've got them like on lock and key now because like you gotta start the oven at the right time, the air fryer at the right time, and do pancakes first and eggs, because eggs get cold. And I got this like down. Like I know if you were to make breakfast and I would walk into that kitchen, it'd be a disaster stone. Even by the time stone zone, even by the time that I'm serving food, like the kitchen's clean, I like figured out how to like cook as I or clean as I go and stuff. Yeah. Is that a challenge? You believe me? Or do you agree with me? What challenge? If you disagree, I'm going to challenge you to make breakfast next time and see how it goes for you. I got
Yeah.
like everything down.
It just depends on how many things you want me to make. Because there's some things that I don't make normally.
What do you mean?
So, like for example, like making bacon, making eggs,
I
making
don't make
pancakes,
bacon
making.
regularly. Yeah, but you can just, there's this thing that you can do. It's called learning.
Well, I already. Okay, whatever.
I'm just saying, like,
I don't think it's that hard, honestly.
oh, so you're making breakfast next weekend. That's what I'm hearing.
I don't know about that. Are we gonna be out of town next week?
Yeah, okay, so the next time we're home.
Okay.
What do you mean I don't think it's that hard? You do it then. You
It's not,
haven't
you
done
act like
it.
I've never cooked
I know,
before.
but I'm saying like the way that I'm so efficient with it and fast and like cleaning at the same time. Okay, you're making
Oh, I'm
breakfast next
saying.
weekend we're
We'll
home
see.
then.
We'll see.
We'll see what.
We'll see how hard it is.
What do you mean how hard does that mean you're gonna make breakfast or what?
Yeah,
Okay.
I'll do that.
Okay.
We'll see
We'll see what.
how hard it is to clean up after
Okay.
yourself while cooking.
Okay. Yeah, but no. And then we got like the syrup from Jensen's. So we had that with breakfast today, and then a bacon leftover from a recipe the other day. So we had like a full freaking we had pancakes, eggs, bacon. What was the other thing? Hash browns, man. Can't tell me nothing.
Hmm.
But yeah, other than that, has there anything else that's been happening in my life? Nothing really.
It's been consistent,
Yeah.
you know.
How about you? What's your temperature?
My temperature, I'm chilling, of course, as usual. Um, I just been listening to a lot of music. Um, I listened to the new Lil Uzi Vert album. I'm not like a crazy Lil Uzi Vert fan, but at the same time, there's some songs that he has that I kind of mess with. So I decided to check out his Pink Tape album, and it was somewhat what I was expecting, but also not what I was expecting either. So, but it was like a pleasant surprise. It wasn't like a turn this shit off kind of thing. It was more so like I was a little open minded to it. And if you're unfamiliar with Lil Uzi Vert, he's a little bit like he's a rapper, but he's also like punk metal. I don't know what you would classify as like hard rock or
Is
scream.
alternative the right word for it?
Kind of alternative, but not really. I really don't know how to describe it, but it's like he has like a good mix of like rap and then rock in it. Um, so it was really a fun listen. What else? What else have I been doing? Oh, I've been all my NBA fans been trying to keep up with all the contract signings and free agency and all that other good shit. Twitter's been on some bullshit, so we've been dealing with that. Rate
With it's like
limit
yeah, the viewing limit. It's gone from six
exceeded.
hundred to 800 to 1,000. Like, come on, man.
Yeah, like I don't know what Elon on right now, but he needs to stop smoking. He need to sit back, chill out, don't mess up a good thing. Right. So other than that, I haven't really done too much. Helps your neighbor move.
Yeah.
Did that, I guess, yeah. So, but anyways, let's get started. So we're not boring you guys too much with our personal lives. Today's first topic is: can men and women be friends?
No, I'm just kidding.
It's like
Are
it's not expecting that.
do you want me to answer, or are you gonna go into
I'm
your little?
asking you. I want you to
I think women and
answer
men
that.
can be friends, but I do think that like that relationship gets messed up when someone starts catching feelings, A, or B, admits feelings to the person, because then it's like, dang, we had something good here. I know that like there's there's kind of like a running joke or a thing that like women say, like I see TikToks about it, just like how they're friends with a guy, and then their guy friend turns to them and says, "Hey, I really want to talk to you about something," and they're like, "Oh," like they know what's coming, and like their platonic friendship with this guy is completely over because he's about to confess feelings. And once a man catches feelings for you, things will never be the same. But yes, men can be friends. Men and women can be friends. I'll be honest though, I don't think there's too many guy friends that I've had that I haven't had crushes on though.
Hmm.
But that's me growing up. Yeah, that's a whole nother direction we could go with that, but we don't have to.
Okay.
I think it just has to do with like the fact that I'm like a hopeless romantic. That's what I'm like. Oh my god! And then you did the scenarios in your head and you start running with them. Anyways, you answer the question.
I have a really hard time figuring out the answer to this question. If I'm talking personally, yes, I could be friends with women and nothing more. But I think it depends on the kind of guy Um, and maybe girl. I don't know how girls are, but guys for sure. I don't know. Someone had asked. Um, I heard this question, which is why I prompted this question myself. But someone had said, "Do you think your guy friends, all your guy friends in your circle, if you gave them the opportunity, would they pass up on dating you or
Oh,
smashing?"
okay. Oh, you're asking me?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know.
Wait. Yeah. Think about it.
So if I'm thinking about all these guys I'm friends with, will they pass up on an opportunity to date me?
Not necessarily date. When I say platonic friends, I mean like you don't have any sexual attraction to this person. You literally view them as just a friend.
Mm-hmm.
That's where it stops.
Mm-hmm.
And if they was to come onto you, you would be uncomfortable about it.
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot more women are that way compared to men.
Oh, okay. I don't know. You know how I go through phases where I'm like, everyone wants me. Like, did you see that guy looking at me? He was totally gonna. So I feel like I can't answer that question unbiased because I feel like I'm gonna be like, oh yeah, every guy wants to date me. Every guy wants to.
I'm talking specifically smashing. I ain't talking about dating because dating's a
So
little
you
bit
want me to think
more.
about the guy friends I have and if they would smash me? That's a crazy question.
It is,
To answer
but
on camera? I don't know about that, man. I don't have very many
okay,
guy
okay.
friends.
You don't have to talk about your personal situation, but do you think that on average, if women was to ask their guy friends and they was to like pick up the phone and call their guy
Yeah,
friend, would you think that that guy friend would be most likely to try to smash if given the opportunity?
yeah, I can see that.
Okay, so that's why I think, honestly, I think most guys aren't capable of if they're single, of course, and even some that aren't single. Uh,
Men are dogs.
but like, I do think that if given the opportunity, I think that a lot of guys would try to smash their female friends.
So you're speaking from experience, or
I don't think so. No, I don't, yeah, no.
oh, okay.
I'm not speaking from my like point of view because, like I said, I could be friends with somebody and not, you know, not think of anything else from the situation. But I do think that that exists.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not talking about just like the one-offs where it's like the one person that like was a friend and they found you like attractive. It's like a consistent thing where it's just like they got the lingering eye to say. I don't know. I don't know how to really describe it, but I do think that it's
Yeah, I
kind of
feel
hard
like
for
like
men and women
in
to be friends.
yeah, men and women relationships more likely than not, it's definitely gonna be the guy like that has the hots for the girl.
Yeah.
Either they admit feelings or they're just like, hey,
Not to mention, I personally believe that people that are, I think people's friend groups are kind of a representation of, how can I put this? So let's say an attractive girl is probably gonna most likely be friends with an attractive guy.
oh,
That's
okay,
how I look at it.
okay,
Like just people have like a certain group of people that they tend to be friends with,
okay,
which is why I think it's difficult because you're all like in the same space.
okay.
If that makes any sense.
It's difficult for the guy to not catch feelings.
No, not catch feelings. I'm talking about smashing. I'm not talking about feelings
Oh,
here. I'm talking about
sorry, my
smashing.
default is always
Yeah.
feelings.
So let's say, do you think that uh, women that are like celebrities, do you think they keep a lot of attractive celebrity women around, or not even celebrity, but just a lot of attractive women around them? Yeah.
Yeah.
And what I'm saying is, the guys that those women be most likely are friends with, those guys are probably attractive as well.
Yeah, I can see that.
So
Like people hang out with like people.
that's what I'm
That
saying.
makes sense.
So I think when we talk about the spaces of who will be willing to smash who, I think it will be a high likeliness if you guys are all normally in the same circle.
Sure.
So,
Case closed. Dr. Dre, he figured it out.
well,
We can all go home. Good work today.
okay.
But yeah, I mean, going back to like men and women can't be friends. I know that's like kind of a question or thing, something that people like think about or dwell on in like relationships because it's like, can you make new friends of the opposite gender once you start a relationship? Because you can come into a relationship having guy and girlfriends as a guy or girl guy, but then after once you start dating that new person, yeah. What do you think about like making a new guy friend? If I were to make a new guy friend, now that we start dating, is it like a that's not a thing you need or you should be doing, or like, what do you think of that?
I think it depends on how you make friends with the guy.
Oh, okay. If he didn't like come up and hit on me, and then
Because for me, I'm a guy as well, so I know how certain things are, and depending on how you guys first meet, it really depends on how I view you guys' friendship. I know that some guys are just genuine dudes that are just trying to be cool people, and then there's some guys that want more, but they know they can't cross that line just yet, so they're just gonna wait around
oh,
and be friends, quote unquote, and wait until you have a bad moment with your relationship, and then they try to slither their way in and
you can
make
cry on
moves.
my shoulder.
Basically, yeah.
Interesting.
So it just depends. I feel like there was what was that one time you talked about you were out somewhere and some guy
Mm-hmm.
came up to you,
Mm-hmm.
um, and I was like, yeah, you can't really make friends with those kind of people
Yeah.
because they're not looking to just be your friend.
No.
So
Not like they're a bad person. It's
no,
just like
yeah,
yeah, the
it's just
intent is just not
the intense,
pure.
which goes back to that last podcast where I was like, I don't understand the concept of being friends with somebody first if you're attracted to them.
Oh, that kind of makes it make more sense now.
Yeah,
Interesting. It's very interesting.
yeah. I just think your intentions are
A little
being authentic.
blurred. Yeah.
You're not authentic with your intentions, and that becomes an issue down the line because that creates jealousy as well, creates confusion, um, distrust. There's a lot of bad effects that come into it if you just
Huh.
pretend to be friends with somebody first without actually being
Okay.
upfront.
Like mulling it over my head now because like you've said this before, but I didn't have this like angle, this perspective. So I'm like, oh,
Hmm.
okay,
Yeah, deep thought.
interesting.
Well,
Okay,
I'm in my bag right now. You know what I'm saying?
interesting.
It's so weird because like some of the things that like Mercy says, I think I get it, but then I'll like present something. It's like she's never thought about this before her day in her life, and I just wonder how like other women feel about like certain things. Like, are they aware of like other stuff that come into it? Like when you guys make friends, sometimes I think you guys are thinking, "Oh, he's just a really nice friend," but then like I start asking specific questions, and then it starts to add up. Like, well, yeah, he does this, or well, he has done that too, and that is kind of weird. And it's like y'all didn't really think about that like ever.
I don't know.
uh, yeah, just in La La Land.
Well, let's just keep things simple. I don't know. But going back to the prompt or whatever,
Hmm.
I think the final answer we came, the conclusion we came to was yes, men and women can be
Yes and no.
friends. But then there's like an asterisk yes
Yeah,
next to the
it
yes.
depends how mature the guy is.
I'm sure both parties are. I think.
Uh,
I guess. Okay.
yeah, it just depends how mature the guy is. If the guy is like really mature, he can keep his boundaries. If the guy's not mature at all, his
Can
boundaries can be broken.
Can I ask another question? I saw like I've probably seen a few TikToks about it's not a couple sitting down, it's like one partner of the couple sitting down and be like, yeah, me and my spouse, we don't have friends of the opposite gender. And if we do hang out with friends of the opposite gender, my partner's there with us. Do you think that's doing too much, or do you think that's just like their maybe it's the boundaries that
I
they
think
need?
it's also a part of insecurity as well. For example, if she has a friend that she had prior to meeting me, and it's like opposite gender, and then they want to go out somewhere, she got invited to go out. I don't know these people, of course, and they're obviously dudes. How should I feel about that? Because they've been friends a lot longer than she's known me for. So is it my place to now say, oh, you can't go out with these people because they're guys, or what? To me, that comes off as insecure if I can't let my girlfriend go out and hang out with some other guys. If I don't trust that this relationship will be healthy.
Okay.
If I don't have that, then I shouldn't be in a relationship with this person.
It's fair. And I guess I feel like not everybody does that out of lack of trust. I think it's just out of respect for the partner. So it's like if I had a guy friend, it's not like you are telling me not to hang out with them without you. It's just like I refuse to hang out with them without you out of respect for you.
That
It's kind of like
sounds.
proactive.
I get what you're saying, but it sounds weird to me because it's like if I got invited by some of my female friends, like I might invite you, but let's say you're not available.
And it'd be kind of weird if you canceled. Like, oh, we don't.
Yeah, my girlfriend can't come, so I'm not gonna
Yeah.
go. But it's like these have been my friends before I known this girl, so why can't I hang out with you now?
Mm-hmm.
It just sounds weird to me.
I get that.
So that's how I look at it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you just don't invite me, and you say I'm gonna hang out with these guys, and you're not even gonna invite me, then that's a little weird to me.
Oh, okay.
I think that is.
Oh.
But if you say, hey, I'm gonna hang out with these guys, you wanna come along, and I say no, that doesn't mean you can't go still. That's where the insecurity to me comes in.
You know, I'm thinking about what you just said. Like, if I get invited by my guy friends and I don't invite you, how is that weird?
I think it's weird because it's like, why you invite me to everything else?
Oh, yeah, that's true.
So
I think
why would you not invite me?
In our
to
situation,
that?
it would be weird, yeah, because I invite you to everything.
Yeah.
But okay, well, it's not really easy to ask that question if it's a different scenario because it's not the reality.
Yeah.
So okay, I see. Okay, cool. Yeah. Huh?
What did you say?
I was just gonna repeat yes with asterisks that men and women can be friends.
Okay.
What were you gonna say?
What's the next subject?
That's too fun.
I think we figured it out.
We covered all we need to cover. The next one is icks that we have with our own gender.
So I thought of this question a while back. I had a situation at a wedding.
Was I there?
Huh?
Yeah. It's when I took. This happened at the wedding I took you to.
Yeah, like I had an ick that came to my mind.
Yeah.
So I had to go to the bathroom. Went to the bathroom, and as I was going to the bathroom, I was just peeing, whatever. A couple other guys were in the bathroom already, and one of them had finished and went to the sink to wash their hands. The ick that I got was that the person that was washing their hands washed their hands for like 3 seconds and then dipped.
Do they use soap?
I don't even think they use soap. You can't. How you use soap and wash your hands for 3 seconds? That just seems.
They won't wash it off in 3 seconds.
Yeah. So.
Unless they like put it in their hand and literally like have the
that's
water.
That's nasty.
Oh my god.
So to me, if you're gonna use the bathroom, wash your fucking hands. And when I mean wash your hands, I mean grab soap.
20 seconds.
Lather up.
ABCs twice.
Get to the fingertips.
The nails.
Get the nails. You know.
What is it? You're supposed to. Oh, you're
maybe even a wrist too.
Yeah, the wrist.
Wash it all.
When the pandemic hit, they literally taught everyone how to wash your hands.
Wash it. You learn that shit actually prior to the pandemic. You learn that shit in elementary.
Yes.
Wash your hands. Do it for like 20 seconds. You know, that's pretty solid. This dude did it for 3 seconds. It's a common thing that I experience as a man in the male bathrooms, where it's just like, y'all niggas don't wash your hands at all. And I start to think about all the interactions I have with men, and I'm just like, ew.
Y'all over here dapping each other up.
Yeah, just boom. It's like fucking dookie marks all over your fingertips because you don't wash your fucking hands.
Girl.
And it's like, what are you doing?
Please.
Get it together. Who taught you how to wash it? It's really not that hard. Like, to me, I get more confused from it because it's like, You don't want to wash your hands, but you took the time to go to the sink to wash your hands. So if you're gonna put the effort in going to the sink and flipping on the faucet, you should probably put some more effort, just a little bit more effort into just washing your hands for 20 seconds.
It's not going to kill you.
20
Actually, it'll
seconds.
keep you from dying or spreading disease and killing other people. But that's just me.
I
That's my
just
thing.
don't get it. I don't get it at all.
Girls, check your manses. Sniff his hand after he comes to the bathroom, okay? That's not our job. But I mean, like, come on.
That's an ick for me as a guy. That's just like, what are you doing? Why are you washing? Then I start to wonder, like, do you wash your ass
You got
properly?
streak marks up them drawers.
Like, what's your drawers look like? Is it dookie streaks down?
Oh my
Like,
gosh.
I don't know, man. So that's an ick for me, for men specifically. I think that's kind of nasty.
Yeah.
How about you?
The one I can think of right now is just like, I don't want to get into the situation specifically, but long story short, Mariah Mills. Like, ladies,
Girls that can't get over a man.
it's like if that man does you dirty, we have a culture of like sticking beside him, or he may wander out in these streets, but he knows where home is. Oh my god! Like, let's please do better for ourselves. Whether it's like a culture or something that's taught down to us, handed down to us, we need to break the shackles and do better. Like, with that is so like 1800s and before. Like, we're done with that. There's even like a popular song that's out right now. I hear the lyric when I'm at class, we're dancing, and I'm like, it literally is like he could be out in these streets, but he's gonna come back. I'm like, oh, like, have some self respect. That's no shade, no judgment, but like, basically just don't let men do you dirty. If they do you dirty, thank you next. Like, there's gonna be a better person out there for you. If there's not, that's fine. We don't need these men to survive.
Mm-hmm.
I rest my case. That
Another,
is like for me.
another ick for me for men is the dudes that talk about being alpha or beta.
Oh,
If you calling yourself an alpha male, you are not an alpha male. Niggas who call themselves alpha males aren't they're trying to convince themselves that they are. I think you're a complete weirdo if you think of yourself as an alpha male, if you're simply talking about all this money that you got, all the women that you got, all this X, Y, and Z that you like, you're lame. Sorry to tell you that, but you have no substance. So
I bet there'd be a comment. Okay, nobody comments on our videos, but if the alpha man sees it, they'd be like, "That's such a beta thing to say, man, bruh."
I think
Only a
if
beta would say that.
you don't go out and about and say that kind of shit. Like, well, I'm an alpha male, so I could do. I'm head of household. I could do X,
Come
Y,
on
and Z.
now.
No, you're not, buddy. I'm sorry to tell you, but you're not. All the shit that you do is for women. I'm sorry to tell you that. You don't know it, but you really doing all that shit for women. And if you're doing it for women, then obviously they're superior to you, right? Because you're doing this shit for women. Without women, you wouldn't have the motivation to do half the shit you be doing. That's how I look at it. Somebody who is superior, alpha, they don't think that way. They're just moving about in a way of life that makes them feel comfortable. And if that means making a lot of money and having these things, then cool. But if it's not, that's cool. I feel like when I hear alpha male talk, it's always talking about how much money you got, how many women you got, are they submissive, uh, are you a leader, do people look up to you, X, Y, and Z. And it's like, dog, you probably look up to somebody. So how you alpha if you looking up to somebody? I don't know. It's just a lot of shit that I hear from like that group of people that I'm just kind of like, you guys are weirdos. So that's the ick for sure.
Mm.
You got any more icks for women?
I was gonna go and say pick me's. I feel like pick me, like when you think about pick me, you typically think about women. So I'm not saying it's only like a feminine trait, but pick me's tend to be women more often than not. And I just think of like the women that are on those like alpha male podcasts that are like, oh my gosh, these hoes are doing this, but me, I'm gonna stay at home. I'm gonna cook and clean. Like, girl, what? Stand up. Like, what are you doing? Like, just sitting there and saying that is not going to get you cuffed in the next 20 minutes. I feel like it's just putting yourself in a situation that's unsafe probably for you, and then you're just saying what they want to hear, you know, or even like the ones that they just like think there's some different breed or a dying breed where they're like I've seen on Twitter like y'all don't clean the water before you take a shower in it, or like you don't take a shower after the shower to get rid of the towel bacteria. You know, just like I feel like what they do is so hygienic, or there's just no one that does it like them, and then they try to shame on people for not being. Some people don't have the time. Some people don't have the resources. Let's be so for we're all just doing the best that we can for what we have. So I just if you want to share what you do, your routine, that's great. But there's no need to like tear other people down. Let's just all be nice and love each other. Is that so hard?
I think another ick that I have for men is if you can't cook.
Oh.
How you not? How do you not know how to cook?
Everyone eats.
How do you not know how to wash dishes? Just anything that requires taking care of yourself. If you are a man and you don't know how to do any of that shit, to me that's an ick. How do you not do that? How do you know how to do any of that? Like to me, what have you been doing for the past like several years?
Come on now.
What do you didn't even take any initiative to learn anything? That's just kind of crazy.
It's like it bugs me when like guys go off to college and that's the first time they learn how to do their own laundry, you know?
Like, man, I don't know. Some of the shit I just be seeing, and then they like result to like. And see, this is the part where I'm kind of like a little guilty on because like they order like DoorDash, or they order out, or they go out to eat, or they buy like prepackaged food to eat because they don't know how to cook. I do a lot of DoorDash because a lot of the good food around me, it's just really, it's time consuming to make. And when I'm working, I don't have a lot of time once I finally get home to like take a shower, cook food, clean up, and then eat. By then, I need to go to bed. So,
you know, and it kind of, with food prices these days.
And it's not expensive.
I mean, cooking at home and going out to eat. If you meal prep the food that you buy out at the store or at the restaurant, you might just be spending the same amount of money. Yeah. So,
well, I know how to cook though. That's the thing. I know how to make food by myself if I need to. So, I don't know. Y'all niggas just need to get y'all shit figured out with that whole like, just don't. Please stop. Work on that. Be better. You know, when women say the bars in hell, I kind of understand what they're talking about sometimes because it's like, damn, y'all don't even know how to wipe your own ass. It's kind of crazy.
Letting the water just trickle down.
Just kind of trickle down.
What? You're not getting there, getting the doodle crumbs out? Anyways, I don't think I have anything else. I was like racking my brain for that second one. So, women, I got lots of love. It's all love over here. But men,
I mean, I got some icks for women too, but
oh, that's not the topic.
I know. I'll save it for a different day.
Yeah, okay. Oh, not my lip gloss.
My bad.
You want some? My lip gloss is cool. My lip gloss will be pumping. Next topic. Serial dating. We have two different opinions on serial dating. So let's just get right on into it. Let me ask this first question. Is serial dating bad?
No.
I view it as a bad thing, so I'm going to go ahead and say yes. Why isn't serial dating bad?
To me, serial dating is no different than fucking. And it sounds crazy to say initially, but hear me out. When I think of somebody who, let's say, for example, they're not really interested in dating because they like the ability to be free and not really deal with the responsibilities of somebody else, but they like fucking a lot. So they go around town and fuck a bunch of different women or men, right? No one should be judging that, right? Obviously, that's just what they want to do. You know, if they want to fuck, they want to fuck, right? That's just how it is. Okay, cool. If you can do it, you can do it. Congrats. If you are like, if you just like doing like dates kind of stuff, you like to go out. There's a lot of shit in the world that it's kind of fun to have with somebody else. If you don't have that with somebody else, then it's kind of like you could do it by yourself, but at the same time, it might not be as enjoyable for you. To me, that's how it is. There's just a lot of things in the world that I would rather do when I'm in a relationship than do by myself. So like going to concerts or going to sporting events or going out to eat or doing some fun home activity and fucking, all right? So to me, I think if I want to go, if I could be in a relationship and it be healthy, cool. And if we say, all right, we had enough, cool, and I can dip and find a different relationship, I think that's fine if you're healthy about it. You don't have any like strong attachment issues with it. If you have like really strong attachment issues where you're like traumatized after every relationship, then you probably shouldn't be doing it, and that's where it becomes an issue. So I don't know.
My issue that the first issue that comes to mind when I think of serial dating is because serial dating also includes the length of length of time you've been alone. So like if you're constantly bouncing from relationship to relationship with 2 months in between relationships, what are you doing? Like, are
Having
you not? Huh?
Go ahead, go ahead.
Are you not comfortable being by yourself? If you are, what's the word, dependent on your partner, that's an issue, and that's going to be an issue. I feel like that's going to be present in your relationship, which may cause the end of it. Um, Also, just like I'm not saying like because obviously from each relationship you learn something. So I'm not saying oh you can only have three relationships under your belt and that's the max for me. That's all I'm saying. But why is it that like the first thing like why can't you be alone coupled with why are you dating all these people? Like what haven't you learned? That's why I think serial dating is a little bit of a concern. Like I don't know. It's just thing after thing after thing. Like take a good year to just heal from the past, the most recent relationship, or the ones beforehand, and then to feel more comfortable slash confident being by yourself. Because if you can't do that, then I feel like your future relationships are already tarnished or bound to fail.
I also think that uh, why I don't mind or I don't think anything less of serial dating because when I'm a serial dater, I think, um, but this is how I look at it. So as a guy going out and having sexual interactions, casual sexual interactions with women, women don't know how to maintain that most times. Not every woman, but a lot of women don't, right? So if I had sex with this girl,
Maintaining a long term sexual relationship with
yeah,
no relationship.
yeah, like a girl is going to have a hard time not having feelings after a certain point. So I'm left with two things. I have to cut this sexual situation off and then try to find somebody else that still might end up being the same way this person is, or I just turn it into a relationship and just see where it goes. Because that's one thing women don't talk about is how quickly they get attached to a guy when they have sex with a guy. So if
Just
I am trying to, let's say if I actually try to just casually fuck around, it's going to be very difficult for me, especially if I'm a decent human being, because that's another thing. If I'm a good dude and the girl knows I'm a good dude, I'm respectful, I'm kind, I'm chill, good sex, and women always talk about how low the bar is for men, how do you think those women are going to respond to me?
are you saying you're a catch, huh?
Well, you here, aren't you? Like, but that's how I look at it. How do you think those women are going to respond to somebody like that? If the bar's in hell, they're having great sex with the person, and they like the person's personality. It's very hard for women to just keep things separate after that,
In your experience.
in my experience.
Because
So
there
it's
are a few women that are fine with
yeah,
really serious
there are,
relationships
but
that
it's far and few between, to me at least. It seems like. So it's like if that's the case, then if I just serial date, which means I can have a great time with this person, and we could claim each other as exclusive. I'm still able to have the casual sex or whatever. But I'm also able to do fun things with this person, like
wait,
go
what?
what? When I say casual sex, I just mean with this person
Oh,
specifically. Sorry.
Okay.
I don't mean like actually like going out,
whoa.
but like I could do other things with this person and it'll be fine. I don't see the issue with serial dating. Because also with me, I've never been to the point where like after a relationship is ended, I'm like traumatized. I'm like, what can I do? Like, I can't be in this space by myself. Actually, I'm capable of enjoying my own personal time. But there's still a lot of things that I like to do that I think would be a lot easier for girls with me. So, for example, if I want to go to a Giveon concert, I'm not about to ask some guy friends to go to an R&B concert with me. That's just a little weird. So having a girl to go there with, cool.
Cause
You don't have to sing. But have you thought about that?
Thought about what?
Just how difficult it would be to try to not be in a not to serial date, but to also try to interact with women.
No. Next topic. I'm just kidding. Okay, not to serial date.
Because how as a guy, I want to interact with the opposite gender.
Interact, you mean you want to
do whatever the
bump
fuck.
And grind.
Let's say I don't even want to have sex, but I just want to have a fun time with this person. How do I do that without them catching any emotional feelings?
Friends. Establishing friends from the beginning. You have female friends.
But if I'm attracted to you as well, then what? That goes against my thing, too.
So you're attracted to them, but you don't want to date them?
Yeah. But then they catch feelings.
Friendship ends?
How often do you think I would have to go through that?
I don't know.
I guess you probably wouldn't know because you're not a guy.
Yeah.
But to me, that's a lot.
It sounds like you're not listening to your boundaries. What it sounds like.
Oh,
it's like,
what do you mean?
Well, I don't know. It just feels like, I'd rather not date you. I'd rather keep this casual. But you're gonna catch feelings ultimately, so I might as well cuff you for the time being.
Well, no. What I'm saying is, I actually like dating. Me personally, I like dating, so I don't mind doing that. What I'm saying is for the guy who doesn't want to date, but also has to worry about a woman not catching feelings.
Well, then
what?
I don't know. I feel like that would make me question, like, is this something I should be doing? Should I be long-term hanging out with someone and casually sleeping around? Or as humans, are we meant to be, monogamous? Is this, like, non-commitment thing normal?
So you're saying that guy can't do that then?
I would question it.
So what about the girl who can casually have sex without catching feelings? Is that okay?
Yeah.
Why is that okay?
Whatever we want.
That's crazy. See? Double standard.
No, but I do think that those people who don't want to date need to find someone who's also like don't want to date, but I'm fine with casual relations or whatever. But
women lie. I can't. No.
Not all the time, Dre. Jesus.
Okay, I don't want to make it.
I hate women.
When I say women, I want to put a disclaimer out. I want to put a disclaimer out here.
Oh my God.
For me, I'm not about to police my wording all the time.
You will.
Will I say? When I say women, I don't mean all women. Just like when women say these men are trash, they don't mean all men, but they probably mean most men, or they probably mean a lot of men or some men. They don't say some or most or any of that. They just say men most of the time, right?
Yeah.
Exactly. Anyways. So when I say women, I don't mean every fucking woman on the planet Earth. Obviously, everybody's different. But in most cases, or in some cases, this is how they are.
Anyways, as I was saying, I think it all goes back to relationship cards.
No. Hell no.
I don't know. That's hard. That's just, like, I don't know how to navigate that situation or provide an answer because that is just not for me. That would never work in my situation. It's not for me. So it's like, why would I sit here and try to conjure up some kind of solution for you when I don't think you should be doing that in the first place, you know?
And that's the difference. Because for me, it's like, I'm chill. So it's like, oh, you want to date? Okay, let's date. Let's see where this goes. And if it doesn't go anywhere, then it doesn't go anywhere. But I'm also not like too caught up in it where I can't like get like unattached from it. Because that's another thing. Like when a relationship ends, it's not like I'm like depressed or traumatized or anything. I'm fine.
It makes you sound like you're not very emotionally invested in it.
I'm not. There's nothing wrong with that though. I could slowly be more emotionally invested the further we get along into the relationship. But in the early stages, I might just be chill about it. And that's completely fine because that's like also not a lot of pressure on the relationship. I think that's healthy too. If you put a whole bunch of pressure on a relationship in the beginning, I think that could be disastrous at times. So, If you just chill, go with the flow, enjoy one another, and if it goes somewhere, it goes somewhere. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Cool, and then move on, and you find somebody else. I think that's fine. So serial dating's fine. It's okay. I got you, man. Serial dating, we got it.
Okay. I don't really have. I don't know. I feel like men, not to like start a whole thing, but I feel like men benefit more from like casual dating than women do.
Because we don't get emotionally attached to things so quickly. Not all men. Obviously, I don't want to. Once again, there are men out there that do get attached, but I think a lot of men are very chill. We don't really get too emotionally attached to things too quickly. So that's how we benefit. It's just a natural thing that we are.
Well, then would you say that there's like a lack of like emotional space for men in society? Do you
No, it's
think
just
that could
we
be
have
a
a
reason?
different approach to it. It's just like, oh no, we're chill, and then we eventually grow into loving the person if it continues the same way. I think that's fine to be slow with it.
Anyways, I have nothing else to
Oh
say.
my god,
No comment. I don't have anything to say. I just don't think it. As opposed to like serious.
it's,
Going back to that.
I know, but I feel like you think that it's like some like I
Well,
was
I
talking to
was.
Mercy about this, but like I feel like a lot of the things that like men are or men do, it's becoming more and more like everything men do is like toxic or negative or it needs to be better. And it's like not everything about men needs to change. I
What
think there
things
are
about
some
men
key
don't need to
things.
change?
That's such a broad question to
Give
ask.
me one example.
Uh,
A myth.
The example that we're about to, the example that we were just on with the whole emotions thing. I don't think every man needs to be super emotionally invested right away. I think there's a healthy space where you like this person, but you also don't want to get too caught up in it because I think the reason why I think of this as like a healthy thing is because sometimes people will miss the red flags in a relationship because they're so heavily emotionally involved in the relationship that they don't see the red flags until it's too, like deep into the relationship and then it becomes a problem.
Oh,
But
so do
you've
you
been
think?
in it so long that a part of you feels like we put in so much effort to it. I can't give up on this relationship.
Sure.
But if you have like a more of like a reserved sense about it, then you can kind of see, all right, I don't know if I can see this relationship going far.
So do you think both people should come in with more reserved emotions to the relationship?
I think so. Personally, I think that if it's better if we all like it was like it just slowly became more and more and more. Obviously, everybody's different, so I don't want to say that everybody has to be like this. But when we're talking about men, most men are probably reserved about how they feel about a woman. And it's not a bad thing. It's not toxic. It's just like we like you, we enjoy you, we want to see where this goes. And then as the relationship goes, we start to notice more qualities that we like about you, and then that's how we slowly fall more in love with this person. But if we're just jumping into it, because I also think that women get the ache from a guy who's just in love with the person off rip sometimes. If a,
That's a small percentage of
it's
women, but
might be a
that's
small
fine.
percentage, but at the same time, it's still a thing that exists.
Okay.
When a girl's like, they might get an ick from a guy that likes her more than she likes him. So then what? Are you going to tell the girl that she's wrong for not liking him as much, or you're going to tell the guy that it's bad for him to like her so hard or so much? Like, where's the threshold? I guess.
I guess it's just like you gotta determine if it's like desperation or like actual liking. But some people may be icked off out by someone likes them too much.
Yeah,
But I'm sure it's a small percentage. It's probably the loudest percentage, but it's the
yeah.
smallest.
So I don't know. I think there's pros and cons. Obviously, you don't want to be the person that's like so emotionally removed that you're always indifferent about the relationship. That's the problem. But if we're just talking about just
So
slowly
is it different for
working your way
everybody?
in,
Like is it a certain time frame for everybody or
yeah,
it's
everybody's
different?
different because everybody gets married at a different time. Some people they get into a relationship, they love each other, and all of a sudden, next thing you know, they're married 6 months later. Some people they get into a relationship, they love each other, but they don't want to get married for like another 10 years or ever. Everybody's different, but as long as it's like a healthy balance of like being an individual and understanding the relationship and being chill about it, but then also moving towards a direction, I think that's good too.
Okay.
But yeah, that's not a toxic thing for men. So you about to say that's toxic for men to be emotionally reserved.
Is that what you're talking to me?
No, I'm not talking about
Oh,
you.
okay.
I'm talking about the people out there that might feel that way.
Oh,
You might need to do some self evaluation.
oh.
Anyways, what's the next subject?
Tip culture.
Tip culture.
Tip culture is getting out of hand, y'all. So basically, tipping. I don't know. Everything's expensive now. Everything, inflation's going up, and then on top of that, businesses are starting to ask for tips more often in situations where they weren't asked before or not necessary. But I don't know. I feel like I was giving it a little bit more thought today. I do feel like, as in general, tips can be asked for in a place where a service is given. Like the video I sent you on TikTok. Long story short, a woman went to Ben and Jerry's, asked for a cone only. The person at the counter gives her the cone, $2 cone. She hits no tip, and the person at the counter was like, "Ugh." She was like, "What?" And she was pointing out how like the lady just handed her a cone, like that wasn't a service. She was just giving her an already made item. But now that I'm talking about it, maybe I'm thinking, oh, maybe that person was in the back making the cone.
So that's what I was thinking. When you showed me the video, I was thinking, what if they actually put like time and effort to actually make the cone and then getting it all set up for you. So when you ask, it's like quick service for you.
Mm.
We don't know really what goes all behind the scenes.
Go ahead.
Sorry, because I was thinking about when we went to Pizza Shark this yesterday, and it asked for a tip, so I paid the tip. It was like a 20% tip or whatever. I think the girl also proceeded to make the pizza
Mm.
after that. But if I was to hit no tip because I just assumed that she was just a cashier and that's it, then what? Then she's getting no tip, even though she was the one helping making the pizza as well. So it's like I don't know what kind of effort that goes into a lot of the stuff. Some of it is probably done prior to us even knowing it. So
Prepping and
for me,
yeah.
it's like I'm not about to go make assumptions about this. I'm just going to give you a tip. If you're not happy with the tip, take it up with your manager. But
I
I'm gonna do
just
something.
I feel like as a general rule of thumb, I think tips should only be done in a place where there's service, but also like in a place where I really do think that the rule where like an employer can pay their person like what $4 an hour because they're making tips, that's got to go. Like people working in a restaurant should be paid the minimum wage at the bare minimum, even though the minimum wage is way below than where it should be. But I just really don't think people should be making their livelihood off of tips. Like we're paying the restaurant food, like money for food, and I feel like the money we're paying the restaurant should it the percentage that's going to the CEO should be lessened, and money should be spread out more across like managers and people on the floor, and greeters, because if their livelihood comes from tips, which is so wishy washy, like what like I just feel like tips should be a nice bonus, but not livelihood. I think that's so ridiculous. And then there are a few restaurants, I can't remember the specific names of them, but they are moving away from paying their employees from below minimum wage to paying them a livable wage because, again, tips should not be their livelihood.
Mm-hmm.
And like, it's literally just here. Like, you go over to Europe, tips are considered rude in some places because their employers are paying them a livable wage. Um, and I mean, this is kind of. Were you gonna say something about that?
I was just gonna ask you. You talked about it being like what a service.
Mm-hmm. So like a
What other way would you be asked tips in?
um, I feel like I don't know. Well, there's Starbucks, but Starbucks is a service. They're making it for you. So you're asking like non-service
I was
places that
gonna
are asking
say
for
like
tips?
what non-service place will be asking for tips?
I'm not really sure, but I do feel like I've seen somewhere on social media, but maybe I'm just like not sure. But places where they don't, I don't know. I just feel like I don't know. I think I saw a study that says, um, I could be making this up and pulling it out of my ass, but like companies are more likely to or starting to ask for tips more in their stores because um, when people see the tip screen, they're more likely to tip. So they're going to ask, not requiring it. But yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of maybe that same was problematic because there's a lot of service places that do service that don't ask for tips, and sometimes people give tips, but they're less likely to. Like I got my car changed, my car oil changed yesterday. They serviced my car. I didn't tip them though, but they didn't ask me for a tip.
Hmm.
So maybe it shouldn't be. You know what? I'm gonna backtrack. I think we should get rid of tips altogether. I think employers should be paying their employees a livable wage. I do. I saw this thread on Twitter where it's like someone was like, or it was a conversation. But long story short, they're advocating for all employers paying for livable wage, and then there's the argument that like only people who have an education should be working a job that pays a livable wage, and then it's like, okay, well then make education free, and then they're like, oh, I don't want to make education free, but like, I mean, let's face it, like, okay, this is getting a little off topic, but I really do think that jobs should be paying people livable wages as opposed to them like focusing or hoping for a tip. I just feel like that puts that person in a very
The,
not great position.
the way I see it is we need to, I agree, pay people a livable wage because we always highlight these other jobs as important jobs, but we don't realize how important the smaller jobs are.
Yeah.
And we don't realize it until fucking world disaster hits, and then we actually realize. So when we see the person at the grocery store, we don't think about how important they are until a disaster hits, and then now we're looking for the people to work. If those people aren't working at the grocery store, how are you going to get your groceries? How are
Mm-hmm.
you going to pay for your groceries? Not every spot is going to be automated. And even then, if that self checkout, let's see that machine breaks down and there's no one there to fix the machine, then what? Because those guys aren't getting paid.
Right.
So if they're not getting paid, then what are we doing? They're just as important to society as everybody else. Somebody has to do the job. If somebody has to do the job, they also need to be paid a livable wage to do the job.
Mm-hmm. Now,
Um,
oh, go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I'm not out here saying that I'm against tipping. I'm not against tipping. I'm against employers not paying their people a livable wage. I be tipping my people.
I was
Don't be
gonna
worried about
say
it. I
I'm
be hitting that 20% or more.
I'm still for tipping because even with the tipping, especially in like customer service, somebody could do the job, but they could also be fucking horrible at the job. So let's say we're out at a diner and this person is serving our table and they're just rude to us the entire time. Well, obviously, I probably am not going to tip you, but if somebody was to come and they could give us like the best service, they ask all the questions that we need to know, they come by, make sure our waters are filled, they do X, Y, and Z to make it a good experience for us, then I'm gonna probably give you the best tip possible.
Okay, question. I'm gonna ask you a little bit of a controversial question, but so if you're at a restaurant and you get bad service, you're not gonna tip at all.
If I do tip, I'm tipping um little.
So you don't tip or you tip little
It
for bad
depends on how
service.
bad it is.
Okay.
It really depends because if I just outright didn't like you, which is hard to do. If I don't like you as a person, or if I don't like you as you did something really fucking bad, I'm not tipping you. Sorry.
Have you ever had a situation where you didn't tip?
No. But
Oh,
I know myself well enough that if it was to come, I'm not about to tip you. Why would I tip you if you were just that trash? This doesn't make sense.
I'm not here to sit here and make excuses for those people, but like, what if they're having a bad day?
That doesn't mean shit to me. Because at the end of the day, it's a job, and you know that just because these people did some bullshit to you doesn't mean that you put that on somebody else. You have to remove yourself from that. You could you cannot have an enjoyable experience with these people, go over to somebody else and treat them just as bad as you felt about the other people. That just seems fucked up. If it's that bad, you need to take a second, go into the back, let out some anger, let out some frustration, and then go back out and do your thing. If you're having a hard time outside of your personal life, once again, leave that at the door.
Yep.
Sorry. We're not here. we are not here at this diner to worry about your issues. We're here at this diner to eat this food. I don't want to make you seem like a robot either, because at the end of the day, you're a human being. But at that point, if it's that bad, you probably should take a day off.
Mm. I'm going off that point. Customer service jobs is a lot of emotional labor,
Yeah.
and just for that reason alone, people should not be concerned about like, oh, am I making enough because I'm getting tips? So just another reason to reinforce that employers should be paying livable wages. Anyways,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, but no, I feel like I've just been seeing the tip option pop up more and more wherever I buy food at, which makes sense because I mean those places are typically service places. But hey, I'm gonna start eating at home more. Well, it doesn't even matter. Eating at home is expensive too.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna go on an all air diet.
Oh, another thing, another reason why I feel kind of pressure into tipping, because I guess it's a known thing that black people aren't good at tipping in general.
Or it's like a stereotype, not
Yeah,
like a no.
yeah. So I don't want to be stereotyped. I don't want to be stereotyped
That
into
blew my
it.
mind. Growing up, my dad would always tip, so I was like, "Wow!" When I first heard that stereotype, I was like, "What?"
Yeah, and then also on top of that as well, as a man specifically, if I don't tip, that I come off as stingy or broke. And let's say it's our first time out on a date and I don't tip. Maybe not you specifically, but some other girl's gonna see that and think, "You doesn't tip," and they're gonna think the worst of me because I don't tip. So there's just a lot of other,
Tipping culture is so toxic,
yeah, it's just a
man.
lot of bad
It's a lot of
around it,
pressure.
where it's just easier to say, "Hey, I'm gonna tip you this much," and if you don't like it, hey, that's tough.
I tipping makes me like even like feel not great. Like I'll be out with friends and I'll be at the cash register paying, and like I know they're behind me, and then the tip screen comes up, and I'm like, do I have to tip right now? If I don't tip enough, what are they gonna think of me? It's just everything around tipping is just not great. We need to eradicate it. Ban tipping. It's not for me. Not a fan.
But yeah,
Yeah.
accepted.
And our last topic of the day.
What's the
Drum roll.
last subject?
Yeah.
Shit.
Drum roll, please. What aboutism? ah, so it's something that I kind of heard on TikTok, but long story short, what aboutism is the phenomenon of it's kind of a product of being chronically online. So it's a phenomenon where a person is talking about a specific situation, and then someone replies, "Well, what about this?" Let's talk about, for example, someone may be on TikTok or Twitter complaining, "I hate slow walkers. Oh my gosh, walk fast." People just air their grievances, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And then someone will come and reply and be like, "Well, what about people who are disabled? Or what about people with walkers, wheelchairs?" That original person complaining about walkers, they're not slow walkers. They're not talking about people who are disabled. So it's just like applying or asking a question about something that's not related to the original subject matter. Another example could be, "This is my hair routine. This is what works for me and my 4C hair." And then someone's like, "Oh, yeah, I'm not going to do this. I have bone straight hair. That's just going to ruin my hair." Girl, that had nothing to do with you. Like, you didn't need to leave that comment. I wasn't talking to you. You know what I mean? You
Mm-hmm.
see that a lot online where people just try to bring up those ridiculous rebuttals when they have really nothing to do with the subject matter. Like I guess it's just a lot, an issue of people thinking that everything needs to be, um, what am I trying to say? Like inclusive. And there's some things aren't inclusive for everybody. 4C hair products are not inclusive. It's for people with 4C hair. It's not for people with bone straight hair. And that's just how it is. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I just feel like or that person, that TikTok was saying that's kind of a result of like being chronically online. Do you think, what do you think about what aboutism?
Uh, it's difficult for me to fully say or have a hard position on, because on one hand, I agree that when a subject is brought up, then it should just be like we focus on this subject or we move along. But then on the flip side, I do think some subjects need that whataboutism.
Yeah. I guess it's unnecessary what aboutism. That is it's like, why are we seeing this or why are we doing this so often? Like people just bring it up to be difficult and to cause
Yeah.
issues. I think the the positives of some whataboutism isn't even whataboutism. I think the positive side of that is like having a conversation or talking to another person with a different viewpoint to learn more about their viewpoint. That's fine. But like the one where it's like that's not related at all to anything we're talking. You,
Yeah, it's
of
not
course, I'm
okay.
not talking about people with straight hair when I'm referring to this 4C hair routine.
Yeah. So yeah, I would agree. If we're having a discussion about something and you bring up something that's completely off subject or not about the topic and you're using that as a what about, leave a topic, go tweet somewhere else and talk about that specific topic, and then you will have your group of people that will want to talk about it.
Yeah.
Um, we don't need to always respond or talk about something just because we see it and it bothers us. Sometimes it's just fine to skip it. Just keep scrolling.
Yeah.
I think people have a hard time nowadays to keep scrolling.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to feel like they need to have a voice and opinion about every last subject,
Mm-hmm.
and sometimes that's not really benefiting at all either.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
And it's easy because like there's no repercussions. You're sitting behind a screen. You're not gonna run into them in
just
person.
chatting up.
Yeah.
Um, I see it a lot, especially on Twitter, especially in black spaces. We just can't mind our own business sometimes.
I see a lot on TikTok. Even like personally, I don't have kids, but I'll sit and watch like a 3 minute video about a lady and what she feeds to her kids and what she does in a day with her kids. That ain't got nothing to do with me, and I'm well aware of that. I don't comment. Yeah, please don't post this content anymore. Like, I have no kids. This is right. Like, what? That like, she's obviously posted that concept for the right audience. Like, what is my business trying
Mm,
to tell her what to do? Yeah,
yeah,
come on now, let's be better.
yeah.
I feel like,
I might judge you, but I ain't gonna post anything. I'm gonna
yeah,
just keep scrolling. Like,
judge here,
yeah,
not here.
yeah. Some people feel like they have a responsibility of upholding, like, this is wrong, and they'll post a big ass paragraph under somebody's comment, talking about how wrong this is to do. Like if we're talking about how to take care of kids,
There's
and
different ways to raise
and
kids, yeah.
someone's like someone's posting a specific way how they raise their kid, and then somebody is in the comment section saying, "I would never do that." Da, 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 da. It's
Then
like,
don't do that.
okay, that's
Continue to
not
not do that.
that's not what this post is here for you. This post is for somebody who's going through the same issues as I'm going with, and they don't know what to do about it. This is how I handle it, and maybe this could be helpful for you. You could choose not to do it, or you can do it, but that's up to you. You don't need to comment underneath to say you would never do that.
How is that productive? Please,
Yeah,
please answer that question quickly.
I actually saw, and this is the same thing, but not the same thing. I saw a post about basketball culture and like these basketball trainers, and like for example, there's this guy that was talking about shooting form and the proper technique to shoot the basketball, and somebody in the comment section was like, "But what about this shooting form and this that and this that?" And then it's like the way this guy is talking about a shooting form isn't wrong, but the way you feel about the shooting form isn't wrong. How about you just post something else and then allow somebody to kind of decipher whether or not this fits them or not, instead of saying that is wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody likes to say, "Oh, this is wrong, that is wrong, this is wrong, that is wrong," and then it's just a clusterfuck of people disagreeing on a bunch of stuff. I also think that like just the aspect of social media in itself, it just promotes negativity anyway. So when we talk about whataboutism, I think it kind of plays hand in hand with negativity.
Mm, I think it's just the issue is everyone's different. Everyone has preferences, and let those people have their preferences as long as they're not hurting other people.
Yeah,
That's what every single conversation boils down to.
preference.
Preference, and that's okay. Let's all have different preferences.
If you want to spend your money on a Gucci bag, a new Benz, and a da 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 da, go live your life.
I
If
love
you
that
want
for
to
you,
be cheap
sis.
and you just want to keep everything to yourself, go ahead and do your thing. But just because someone else doing something different than you, don't mean you gotta make an opinion about it.
Mm-hmm.
Keep it to yourself.
Right. Because I do that all the time. I'm perfect at it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Have I ever done that?
Have an opinion? Yeah.
I've had an opinion. Oh my god. Never mind. Okay. That's crazy.
All right. What's our question of the day? Don't tell you anything about it.
Would you rather have no kneecaps or no elbows?
I would rather have no elbows. I'm a runner. I'm a track star.
How do you eat?
I run away when it gets hard.
How do you eat?
See, I'm sure there'd be some contraption.
Some contraption?
Yeah, or I can have a high table and have it right here and just. I'd rather not have kneecaps. What? You would rather not have? I'd rather not have elbows. You'd rather not have kneecaps? Yeah. How would you walk? How would you run?
No, that's what I'm saying. I think I would rather not have kneecaps than elbows.
You wouldn't be able to play basketball.
Yeah, I could.
You wouldn't be good at it. You were good at it anyway. Okay.
Like, how would I be able to play basketball? Like,
You could just like.
no. There's so many things I could do on a day-to-day with my elbows more than I could with
Take a step back.
no
Sports
kneecaps.
isn't my life. It's not my job. It was
It's
just
not my job either. I'm just saying, like, so many, like, let's say fucking eating. Okay, I'm sitting at the end of this table. My kneecaps don't work. I can still eat and enjoy things. But if I don't have, I got kneecaps, like, this is just not it.
Fine. I switched my answer.
Yeah. Look at you switching your answer just like me. Okay. I'll see you.
How would you brush your teeth?
Well, I have no kneecaps.
Oh, kneecaps. Sorry,
So I can brush my teeth.
Ow, you're hurting me. Is it because I didn't agree with your opinion? You're going to elbow me? Okay, so no kneecaps. Can't drive.
Yeah, you could. Just
Not safely.
push your seat back.
No, all cars are like that.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna have a car that's gonna be like that.
This was very ableist to me.
You know how I get in the cars, so I really don't need kneecaps anyways.
Sure.
Just fall into it. So
I guess. Yeah, I guess I'll agree with that one this time. Usually I'm right, though.
if I need to go up the stairs, just use the elevator or escalator.
And the building doesn't have an elevator?
Or escalator.
Or escalator.
It's not the building I'm gonna go into.
What if it's your job?
Actually, I can still move. I can still do the
It'd be a lot of work. You'd be sweating by the end of it.
I can use like things to like push myself up.
You're gonna be very top heavy after all of that.
It is what it is. It is what it is. So yeah. Hope they didn't hear that.
Oh, I'm sure it probably made a little bump sound.
Anyways, this is episode 5 of The Lounge.
Thanks for watching.
Hope you enjoyed the topics. If you didn't, my apologies.
I'm not apologizing.
See you next episode.
Bye.
Bye.